Okay.
Do we know if we're anywhere? Like it would kind of defeat the purpose if you had to link all these and then you also had to behind it go into YouTube. Hold on.
What's the stream called?
Well, I'm live right now. All right, I'm live right now. That mortgage show is live on YouTube at least.
Okay, hold on.
Update channel, provide stream key. Copy. All right, you're streaming on Baltimore Life. You're streaming on Facebook. You're streaming on Instagram, Miz. So you're live.
Cool.
We're streaming everywhere.
One viewer. So
it's Wednesday night. You know, some people get to bed early. They want to get into the back end of their week. You know, really strong. So you get a good night Wednesday night sleep. We take live to Facebook.
at least we try to.
Mm-hmm.
Whole idea is to just talk about real estate and what's happening and what we're seeing and go through some homes and see any good deals populating, answer any questions. You know, just like if you and I were sitting in a room hanging out.
So what are you seeing? What's going on in the greater Baltimore?
I was like just getting back from vacation, and there's a lot of people like coming out of the woodwork at all different levels, whether it's $1 million or if it's $250,000, everything in between. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that has been like, let's use like the 275 to like 4 range. So these are homes that are typically townhomes in this area, or they're smaller single family homes. And more than likely, Baltimore metro area is probably a rancher or like a Cape Cod.
That's what you're seeing coming on?
Yeah, but up until now, these homes have been sitting for weeks on end. So if it's like a 3-bed, 2 full bathroom, or just 1.5 bathroom, those would sit for like 2.5 weeks, depending on condition, to 6 weeks before they would see movement. Now, over the last couple of weeks, or last 2 weeks, I should say, those homes are going under contract either within a few days or within about 10 days.
So if you're in what area would you recommend if you have what type of house and what area are you thinking that is hot right now? And is this observable? Is this what you're observing, or is this reports that you're going off of?
This is what I'm observing. So like what I'm actually seeing day to day, which is not normal. This is like if you were somebody that was looking in that area or none of those parameters the last, a month ago, let's say before Christmas, anytime before from November 1st to now, you could have gotten, basically full closing cost help. You could have gotten it for a lower price.
And so those houses were sitting for 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, you said, prior to, let's say, prior to the beginning of the year. 4 to 6 weeks they were sitting. So the thought process, if you were a buyer and you were active during that time, you had more leverage to negotiate seller paid closing costs or purchase price. Now the houses are going in 2 weeks. The sellers know that. So they're less willing. There's more competition. So they're less willing to take those, less willing to pay those seller concessions. Is that the thought process?
Yeah. But it was like basically a turning of a switch, because it was like everybody was just kind of taking their time, rightfully so. We were all taking our time, trying to find the best ones, or, just being a little bit more particular maybe than you probably could be right this second. Because like tomorrow I'm supposed to go out, and the ones that I had scheduled, half of them are already under contract, and it's only been a day. And these homes there's no reason that they should be going that quick, really. Other than people are just coming out of the woodwork in droves and, hijacking the demand.
Okay. So, and that could be just simply, it's a new year. People are, I'm going to buy a house this year, and it could be that effect. It could be the kids are back in school. It could be a number of things. November, the holidays start coming in October. People tell us starting Halloween, like, oh, I'll talk to you after the holidays. I'll talk to you after the holidays. I'll talk to you after the holidays. So it could be a little bit of that. So you've got November and December, all of November and December, everybody's mentally checked out. So it could just be a momentary influx, or it could be last week. Now rates have gone up a little bit, but last week we saw rates at 3-year lows. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. Every time interest rates
3-year lows, which is crazy. 3 years. Think about that. That's, put it in perspective of a kid. It's 3 years. So your newborn is now 3 years old, 3.5 years old, which mine is. One of yours is.
I had two less kids 3 years ago. When you think about that, think about this. I forget what it was, but when I was talking about this on another channel, that mortgage show. If you're a friend of the show, you'd know. But mortgage applications were jumping about 7% when interest rates would dip, anywhere from 1/8 of a quarter of a percent. And I have these conversations all the time, and I'm sure you do too. People text me, past clients text me headlines from CNN and headlines from whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, rates, so everybody's watching this thing. Everybody's watching because it's been 3 years. And not to go off on too much of a tangent, and I hope we don't lose our 7 viewers because I'm going to bring up Donald Trump. But they seem to be all your Facebook and YouTube. So
nice.
A couple weeks ago, rates dipped to 5.99. Everybody was all jacked up and excited. That's fantastic.
What's up, Matt? Appreciate you.
That's fantastic. Oh, no way. Yo, he can join us. Do you want to join us? Matt's a friend of the show. So 2 weeks ago, rates went to 5.99. Everybody's freaking out. Every realtor is on Instagram saying, rates are 5.99, and then they went up. They went up pretty rapidly back to about 6.375. And I don't know, I'm not an economist, but a lot of it had to do with Trump was threatening tariffs again. He's threatening tariffs. He wants Greenland. He's bucking at NATO. So the 10-year Treasury bond, you can look at it from like the last 3 days. It went from pushing to the low 4s, thinking we're going to break 4, all the way back to about 4.29.
Yeah, you can see it too in the rates.
Well, you can see it in the rates, and you can see it in the 10-year. So But the reason that I bring this up is I guarantee you the 10-year is going to plummet. Well, I don't guarantee you, but I'm going to make the claim that the 10-year is going to plummet tomorrow, and we're going to see a lot of more noise about better rates tomorrow, because Trump tweeted this evening, and I get an alert every time he tweets.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense though. We should, what we should be doing? That app Kalshi or whatever that's being advertised now? It's like the predictive markets. We should start betting on these rates and see where they're going based on like the conversations that are happening like in the press. We should start doing that and see what we can do.
Well, so what he tweeted was he was at the World Economic Forum, and he told all of them how great he is, and then he tweeted, or Truth Social or whatever he does, and he said, I will not be imposing tariffs that were scheduled to go in effect on February 1st. So that's going to be, the initial reaction from the market is going to be positive. The reason being, I think a lot of investors, traders, countries, whatever, see tariffs as causing inflation, and inflation causing rates to go up. So 10-year Treasury tomorrow morning, I'm betting it's down a good bit, and I bet a bunch of your lender buddies are going to be saying that rates are getting better throughout the day. So keep an eye on that.
Let's go through something I want to show you here on in like the Baltimore area. And for me, I do the whole all of Maryland, and then also do southern Pennsylvania. So like York County, Lancaster County, things like that. I wanted to pull up just a quick search to see, like, I'm lagging on this end. I'll see if I can get it. But what I wanted to do is just kind of see like how fast some of these things are going under contract. Like, I'm assuming that a lot of people tried to lock in that last Friday when things hit 599, because like when I put a house up on a Friday, we had like 30 some people through the open house.
That's insane. Was it like an unbelievable house, fully, gutted, redone, beautiful, and priced like super aggressive, or do you think it was, more of that news breaking?
I think it's a combination of both. So like the house is ready to go. It was in the neighborhood. But just to have that many people come through at one time, it's more of, up until now, it has been more like sporadic showings booked with an agent, as opposed to a lot of open house activity. Does that make sense? Like, It's not just people coming to an open house. It's more like, hey, I'm working with an agent and I'm booking a showing. There's a couple in the morning, couple midday, couple in the evening, over the course of 3 days or a week. And then open house activity has been like maybe 5 people come through over the course of, depending on if you're doing a 2-day open house or 1 day.
So 30 is insane. And you don't schedule an open house this weekend, right?
Well, if so, it's got to be on Saturday.
Yeah, or bring your snowshoes. So rates go down and people flood to open houses, but here's the problem with that: rates by Monday were up, or by Tuesday.
I know, exactly.
So it's like, if you're like waiting on the internet to tell you that rates are down to go to an open house to try and find a house, you're already missing the point. Like, you should be strategizing. And look, if the rate is 6.25 and you're like, man, I'm not gonna buy a house, and then it goes to 5.99 and you're like, I need to buy a house,
I know, which is crazy.
Yeah, right. You're just not, your head's not on right. So, I mean, that's like $50, you know, 50 freaking dollars, maybe less. That's all hype, and it's all nonsense. What a better strategy would be is be like, hey, loan officer, here's the rate that I want. Here's the rate I'm thinking. Is it within range? And go find your house, go under contract. And just like when you go into investing, you have a tolerance for risk. You should have a tolerance for risk based on rate. And at the beginning of the process, we can say, okay, you want 599. Well, today it costs $1.25, which is $8,000 or whatever it is. I'm making up numbers. And if throughout the process that rate gets better, well, we can keep an eye on it, and maybe that rate can become free, or maybe that rate becomes $4,000. Maybe the cost becomes $4,000. Maybe it becomes $12,000. But you know, I think that's the better strategy, is like having a real conversation about how much you're willing to pay for a rate, if it's worth it, what you want. And if I could have a conversation with, you know, 10 of those buyers that are like just watching the headlines, I bet I could get them more activated and, you know, have their head wrapped around the difference. Because the first thing you do is you show them the payment's $25 difference. You know what I mean? It's $30 difference. Or the cost of $599 is $8,000. And then if the bond goes down, or if rates improve, and I can say, hey, we just let's lock in. It's costing you $4,000 less to lock in that $599 that was $8,000 yesterday. Like, that's more realistic than thinking you're going to go out with be one of 30, get the house for the price it's listed at, and then walk the tightrope of getting your mortgage application completed and rate locked in. It's crazy talk.
There's something else that I wanted to talk about. It's like, do you think that, well, so what I've seen recently is, if I'm putting a house up for coming soon, that let's say I'm ready to go on Saturday, right? And I'm putting it up as coming soon a week beforehand online, with just one picture, typically, to get it ready. And it's in a desirable, like a desirable part of town. Mm-hmm. People will book showings preemptively before pictures are, just to like save their spot, or potentially, you know, have it locked in. And then based on the pictures, that they'll either continue to have the showing,
cancel it.
Yeah. So, which I find is interesting, because it's actually showing the built up demand, as opposed to if you're just, you know, to put it on quickly, you know, 2 days before, like coming soon, 2 or 3 days before, mm-hmm. and then putting it on. It really lets it marinate. And it's really, I think that's a really good indicator of the actual pent up demand that's mm-hmm. sitting out there for the ready people that are just really sitting there waiting.
Is that agents that are scheduling those and then canceling those? Is that an agent thing?
Yeah.
Is that a strategy, like, among your cohorts? Do you talk about them?
I mean, no, I've never done that. I always kind of wait and tell people to wait till the pictures. I mean, we just keep an eye on it. We don't ever really book, but I've had that recently where people have been doing that on the ones that I put up, you know, more than 5 days before that it goes live. That, you know, I'll have 7 showings booked within the first, you know, hour of putting it up, and then it'll stay there. Mm-hmm. And then the 3 days before, let's call it 3 days before, I put up the rest of the pictures and all that. And then, you know, 2 or 3 will drop off. You know, I've also picked up a few along the way. But from, like, let's say that initial 7, 2 or 3 will drop off based on the photos. But I just think that's very interesting of like how many people are actually ready. And now it's just me. Nice, you're back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's just like a I don't know, it's like a scarcity mind. It's also like shows you the scarcity of Baltimore, of Maryland. It's just like there's definitely a scarcity of houses, and there's a scarcity mindset, always with all things, but yeah, especially homes. So all right, let's try and wrap this up and be a little pointed with wrapping it up. Is that cool, Mike? I think this is a successful first run. I want to go through the affordability stuff that we talked about.
Yeah.
So everybody's talking about affordability. It's the biggest topic maybe in the country. Affordability of groceries, gas, but really housing is like top of mind. And I don't think it's because because the realtors and loan officers, me and you, think we're the center of the universe. And I don't think it's that. I think everybody really is talking about housing affordability. So,
it comes up all the time. I mean,
right. It's basically what what the politicians ran on, and they're going to run on in the midterms coming up. So, So let's talk about affordability real quick. So what happened this, January 2025 to January 2026? We look at really like high level stuff. Prices nationally. I know in some regions, Florida being one of them, prices are down a bit. I think in Maryland, prices are up a bit, but nationally, prices are slightly up. Okay, the mortgage rates are down. The average mortgage rate this time last year was 6.9. Today we're closer to 6.1. And comparing the average list price last year and the principal and interest at last year's rates to the slightly higher average price and the lower interest rate, your affordability has gotten better. Your monthly payment for the same house has gotten lower. So a typical buyer last year was paying about $2,090 a month principal and interest on the average sale price. Today, that same house, same buyer is paying $1,965. So it's not crazy, but it is getting better. That's trending in the right direction.
Right. That's what we want. We want trending in the right direction.
Right. And just trying to paint this, lay it on thick or paint the picture here. I'm going to run down a couple different purchase prices, and we're going to base this on 20% down. So the purchase price of $400, today's payment would be $170 cheaper than the same purchase price last year. At $600,000, the payment is $250 cheaper. And at 1.2 million purchase price, your monthly payment difference is over $500 cheaper at today's rates than it was at last year's rates.
So imagine that, right? So here's perspective. Imagine that, right? Let's use that $500 example, right? You're saving $500 more in your mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here in Maryland, the energy crisis that we have with BG&E is out of control. People's bills are doubling. So imagine that you could have saved in the mortgage while, being able to basically cover that, using that money to pay for the electric bill. Now, does anybody want to keep paying more for stuff? No, but the ability to facilitate that and allocate that correctly and help withstand this crisis that we're in. I mean, if that's me, like, that's a big help.
Yeah. And when I refinance people, that's like how we draw the parallels. Like, you're saving $250 a month. That's a grocery bill. That's a night out. That's a car payment in 1999. It's
yeah, God.
I don't cars are ridiculous. All right, so just to carry on and pound this home. So where was I? $1 million. So if your monthly payment that you would qualify for is the same today as it was last year. So if you were in the market last year and you're like, I want my monthly payment to be $3,000, and you haven't paid off any bills and you're still making the same money, so you come to the table and you say, I want my monthly payment to be $3,000. I want my monthly payment to be the same. So if your monthly payment didn't change, the amount that you can pay didn't change, you're still able to buy more house today because of the lower interest rates. So, for example, at the $400,000 level, a payment on a $400,000 house last year, it would be the same payment would be on a $435,000 house this year. At the $700,000 range, if you were, looking at payments on $700,000 last year, that same payment will get you $770. So this is how it's affecting. The rates are affecting buying power. And if you were looking at, $1 million houses last year, you would now be able to make the same payment and afford a $1.1 million house. So literally at $1 million, you got $100,000 more buying power simply from interest rate. So don't, if your market, you're seeing prices tick up or whatever, I wouldn't be too frightened. Talk to some pros.
Yeah. So as long as we have a nice trend of like stability and or the things going down, things are going to be in much better, or people will be in much better position to just do this in general and make a move, whether it's buying an investment property, buying a new home and selling their current home, or downsizing, or buying their first home and getting out of renting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the last thing that I had prepared was Mike's checking his texts.
gotta let the dog in. We're real life live here.
Dog's been out a while. We've been live for 27 minutes. That dog's been out. He's in Baltimore where it's probably 12 degrees, and the dog's been out for 27 minutes and 52 seconds and counting. This poor dog.
He wanted to go out. He wanted to be out there. He's got a nice coat.
Yeah, it's good for his coat. All right, last piece here, and then we'll wrap it up. So, what income? Let's just run down what income people would need to afford a house in those price ranges that I mentioned. So some assumptions that we're making: 20% down, $1,500 a month payments that are toward things that are on your credit, credit cards, car payments, whatever. Yeah. And I'm using a super conservative 43% debt to income ratio. Conventional, you can go up to 49.5 at this point, and a lot of people are stretching it in these days. But 43% debt to income ratio. If you wanted to buy a $400,000 house today, you'd need to make about $95,000 to $100,000 household income. $600,000 range, want to be $120,000 to $130,000. $700,000 range, you want to be above $130,000. And if you're looking in the $1.2 million, your household income, you're going to want to be over $200,000. So,
yeah, household. I guess the key is not just individual; it's household.
Right. Husband and wife, both working. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of you works from home and doesn't do anything all the time, but you're in corporate dime. You check into all the Zoom meetings. They think you do stuff, so you make 100 because you have your business. You have your master's in business. You got your master's in business, so now you can work from home, and do laundry all day, and fake work. There's people out there that are doing that, man. It's
my God. Listen, I met with these kids. I met with this kid today at Delaney High School. He wants to do an internship. Then he was we were interviewing each other. He wants to get into real estate, and he's just talking about like how all these AI things are like infiltrating, school stuff, like how school is done.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I can only imagine what people are going to do at work. Like, how are you even going to know people are working? It's crazy. It can be so faked. It can be so faked. It's just interesting, but nevertheless,
it is interesting. It is, and it's just like people work hard or as hard at faking it or not working or committing crime that they do at like regular. It's like always been the thing. Like this organized crime thing seems so hard. Why don't they just open a freaking legit business?
Right. That's true. Yeah, it's actually very similar.
Yeah. So, all right, Mikey. All right, Successful Live.
All right. We're going to do a live basically once a week just to shoot the breeze about real estate. And if you're watching, cool. If you're not, that's cool too. But maybe you'll catch a glimpse of it and catch a nugget, and it makes an impact for you. So,
I'm so tired.
I'm too.
So tired.
I'm Mike, and we will catch you on the next live.
Thanks for watching. Whoever stuck it out, appreciate you.